Right, well, we just got out Monsters University, the new Pixar film, sequel to the original Monsters Inc., and it's not that bad.
It could have been a lot worse.
It could have been Cars 2, it could have been that whole thing again.
Oh, even planes.
Yeah, planes is gonna suck. Yeah, it's not terrible. I will give there's some very good references to like the original. And the original's good. It might not be the best of movies.
It's one of my favourites though.
Yeah.
Which is why I was so worried about going to see this, because I was just like, oh no, it's a sequel, pre-sequel thing.
Well, no, but Pixar's sort of reputation for sequels is spotty. I mean, you've got stuff like Cars 2, which didn't do too well, but then you've got the Toy Story franchise, which did very well.
Oh yeah, that did pretty good.
But it is a question between necessity, really, which was what the problem is. Because this isn't.
There's nothing special.
I don't know if this was really needed. Much. I mean, you could have. I would have been happy to see this as like a short, but not as a full feature as a whole.
I feel a lot more comfortable about it than I do about Despicable Me Too. I mean, there's still something not quite right with me in Despicable Me Too. So, but I feel a lot more comfortable.
So much so, I have no idea how that means.
No, it's just like I was indecisive about whether I liked it or not, because it just wasn't. There was just something missing about it. But I also think it does. Monsters University does work. And the plot's okay. I didn't get bored of it.
To me, I wasn't quite as enamored with the plot. Just due to the fact that I've seen better movies do this, that storyline.
Yeah.
Funnily enough, there's an older Disney film, which is the second Goofy movie, which has almost.
Oh yeah, you kept bringing this up.
Yeah, it's almost it's very close to the same plot. There isn't a dean, but there is this. But the way it works, it seems very similar. There's this sort of evil fraternity. Which there's always an evil fraternity. Apparently, I don't know how American colleges work, but apparently there's always one fraternity that's evil. So
okay.
I don't know. Yes, it always seems to be the way, and they're always usually wearing red or black, and have someone with a really ridiculous over the top sort of name. Because the guy was the leader of the.
Just that scene like later on, so you better just start off with the whole. This is the plot of the story. Say the plot.
So the opening of the movie starts straight with Mike as a very, very little kid. Which obviously someone said, "Oh yeah, he's a little kid at the beginning. Yeah, let's make him as small as possible because that will bring so many jokes." And like, yeah, I don't care about that. And it's basically them going. It's him and his sort of his elementary school class, I guess it would be technically.
Yes, it is. It says it on the side of the bus. So it's
going to the Monsters Inc. factory for a tour, and this is what inspires him basically to become a scarer. And essentially it's him going, he accidentally gets into the human world, and the scarer who went in is very impressed with him, and that inspires him to.
Technically, he didn't accidentally get in, he kind of.
He accidentally got in. He sort of just wanders in like small children do.
He wanders in like a small child does, and then they say, "Oh, it's accidentally that you got in there." But to me, he seemed to like get in there.
No one seemed to notice or stop him ever.
Yeah, and that's why I probably say he's a good scarer, because nobody noticed him.
Oh no, you could be a good scarer in that sort of respect as being silent, but it is just he's not scary. He's a football with legs.
That's like the whole point of this movie, though, is that he's.
It's unfortunate that that's the whole point of the movie, which is it's summed up.
Is that he's not scary enough to be a scarer.
Yeah, which is the problem. So basically, you have him going to the Monsters University, and essentially, if anyone has ever seen a college, I'd say college, and it's meant to be university, but to me, it's college.
It's weird though, because even though it said it was a university, half of the time they still called it a college.
It's the Americanism.
American is confusing me completely because we don't have that system over here.
The university is when you go after if I remember correctly, is where they go after high school, but it's referred to as a college, whereas here university is the next step.
Yeah, because you have to do college, which is basically our equivalent of being.
Yeah, would be the
step into university. Yeah. That's our college, is getting the grades to go to university. Whereas in high American
education is confusing if you've never really sort of experienced it. Which is the problem.
If you don't understand
it does become. It's one of those things you have to sort of look up and realise because it translates. It translates better once you actually know it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Which is the problem. But basically, if anyone's ever seen any sort of a college campus comedy, I'm trying to think of Animal. I think Animal House has this similar sort of thing. Of it's basically a group who are sort of losers get into trouble and they must get out of trouble and they do it through a competition. It's so formulaic that I could guess everything that was going to happen before it happened because it's not anything original. And that's sort of the problem to it. That there wasn't a point to this. There wasn't something to. It wasn't, oh, we're going to expand on Mike and Sully's history. It's, oh, we're just going to have a prequel and we're going to set it so they're learning a lesson.
It still explains how everybody kind of meets and has their, friendships and stuff like that. So it's still like that, but it doesn't really develop.
Yeah, there's Even the rivalry with Randall. That is so quick. That is so quick heel turn of a scene.
Yeah, I think I was already aware that. I don't know if you told me or someone else told me, but Randall is not the bad guy in this movie like he was in Monsters Inc.
No, he never was.
He's this like really good, happy sort of.
And then suddenly gets sort of corrupted.
And then suddenly he gets corrupted and becomes.
It's once again cliches. It's the person who was a loser who was seen as a loser. To be more fair to the character. Not really. I was that kid in high school. I know what it's like. I'm still that kid. But it's the kid who's seen as a loser who gains popularity and then changes his perspective because of that. And it's nothing new, and that's where the problem is. You end up with a movie that's a lot of continuously cliched moments.
Yeah, and that's feel like a bit of a kind of mishmash of other sort of movies.
I mean, there's lots of references to the original. I'm quite happy with the references.
Yeah.
It wasn't in your face. They just dropped them in.
Yeah.
And it was good. Like,
Boo is not in this movie at all, people. She never appears.
Why would anyone think Boo was going to be in this movie?
I don't know why I thought she would be when I knew she wasn't going to be. But no, she never ever appears.
No.
But I think it's because she made the original Monsters Inc. She was such a big part of it.
Yeah.
But there's nothing really like that type of character in this movie if you think about it.
No, but giving credit to the original, Boo was essentially is essentially a MacGuffin. And really unfortunate to say it's that phrase, but she is. She's there as a plot device. She moves the plot along, whereas the plot device to this is the scare games, which is the problem.
Which I wanted to sit there and call the Hunger Games. I was just like,
no, don't call it Hunger Games. I'll be even more bored. That movie it's just for it's just how weak it was. Just how weak it was for all the sort of violence and no blood.
The second one's due up pretty soon, and I don't think I want to sit through it.
I was annoyed by it. I was really bored from watching it. I just didn't care. So
the scare games are nothing like the Hunger Games, basically. No. The scare games are all kind of. They all seem to be more like sports oriented.
I'll get to it. I'm just gonna.
Okay. Sorry. Getting ahead of myself again. Far too excited.
But so basically, Mike and Sully are in the sort of first class of the scare program, and this continues of Mike showing up Sully as they go on because he just basically can flaunt his way through while Mike's studying and learning everything he can, which is a clever idea. It's the sort of brains against brawn sort of idea.
Yeah.
And because Sully believes he's fine because of that family legacy. He is a Sullivan, thus he must be scary. Yes. But because he's not learning what he needs to have learned, there is a lot of sort of there's a fair few messages in this film.
There's a lot of messages,
which is good. And sometimes they're subtle. Sometimes it's like, no, we shall tell you the message straight to your face. We will not be subtle about this. And so basically, they end up fighting, basically having a sort of fight, and this causes them to be kicked out of the program. But Mike thinks, well, if I'm able to prove that I'm the scariest one of all, they'll have to take me back. So puts himself in the scare games, bringing along a very, very, once again, cliche archetype of the loser fraternity.
They are very unscary.
I don't know. Philosophy major starts going up to me and talking to me, I probably kind of terrified. It's like, I don't want to hear about you, dude. Go away, please. and so then you get the standard college sort of games storyline. They almost fail in the first challenge, but say by technicality, then you shows them progressing, and Mike keeps trying to train them to become more scary. And I feel like I'm just rattling off an end plot to any sort of film that has this thing.
It's one of those like movies where at the beginning Mike just wants it for himself, doesn't he?
Yeah, Mike is fairly selfish.
Teamed up with this group of people because that's the rule. That's what's has to happen. But then it's good for them because once again, another message, they learn to work as a team. And that's how they succeed.
Combining these strengths to better ideas. And that one also is kind of at times subtly and sometimes forced down your throat.
I think one of my favourite messages has to be that, everybody is unique, but everybody has a special talent.
Yeah.
And I really kind of liked how they kind of...
Funnily enough, the only subtle message was the one at the end where they were showing that working hard and going and giving your dues, paying your dues is what will get you where you want to be.
Keeping the goal and your dream alive of what you want to do.
Yeah.
Because you haven't got to like the end of the plot yet.
But admittedly, that was more subtle because there was no words, just pictures, and that's what there should be in a film. I know, but that's the point. That's what it should be in a film. They shouldn't be sort of constantly stating it. It's a lot over the top after all.
So basically, though, they get through all the trials of the sports. Then
and they win, and it's the standards. But then Mike finds out that he's being set up in a way because Sully cheats by the final task is to scare a child as the training dummy, which looks a lot less like an actual child in the original, which I'll give them credit for, is kind of clever. Because I just looked at it, I was like, okay, I get that joke. That's wonderful. That's good. It wasn't that funny. I was just like, okay, that's a nice little reference.
Yeah.
But because of this, it means Mike, no matter what Mike would have done, he would have won. And he proves this. He clicks in front of it, and it jumps up and screams. And so you have the standard sort of, I had to do it because you aren't scary at all, and now we're not friends because you don't believe in me. And so I feel like I'm rattling off cliches, and it bugs the crap out of me to actually have to be rattling them off.
You're almost there though.
I'm amazingly that quick because that's how much faster the film, that's how quickly the film goes with it. And so you have Sully realise what he's done, and he reveals this.
Yeah, they cheated.
And well, he said when he cheated, he does.
He says that it wasn't actually that he cheated himself. That he didn't set up Mike to cheat. It was all his fault. That's what he says. Basically, he's the one who.
But Mike then basically, is annoyed with it. He wants to prove he can be scary, so he goes into the human world. Funnily enough, how they will never learn. It makes me think that in the first film that they didn't learn from this lesson. They didn't think, hey, this is not a good idea. And basically he goes to the human world, finds out he's not scary. Sully has to come in to save him. And they basically work as a team and prove that they can be scary as a team because they manage to. I have no idea how that works. There is basically what happens. The way they get home again, because basically they are trapped in the human world because they deactivate the door. Is that they get the adults inside the building where they are to scream to power the door from their side.
They're being chased by police officers because the police officers think they're bears.
That was really stupid. Like, what police officer chases after a bear?
That's
you would not chase... Well, no, you might just mistake that because it's dark at the time. But they chase after the bear. Like, why would you chase after a bear? That's 600 pounds of brown fury.
Those police officers carrying guns or rifles or anything to actually, defend themselves.
Well, I mean,
they had torches.
I think they probably had guns, but they were holstered.
Show them.
But police officers wouldn't chase a bear. They might, sort of. I don't know. If you would try and scare off a bear, because bears will kick the crap out of you. Unless apparently it turns out to be Nick Cage wearing a bear costume. Go watch the remake of the Wicker Man. That's all I can say. In the remake, Nicolas Cage is dressed in a bear costume and punches a woman in the face.
Oh right, okay. So
it's fucking ridiculous. I've only ever seen that clip as well. I also watched it. I get to it. Like I said, so many films. But they somehow manage to get them to scream so that all of the energy activates the door on the other side. I don't know how that works. I understand how because in the original, they wait for them to have opened the door and then they go through, and that's it. But there seems to be no possible way that should have actually worked because there isn't the connection there.
Yeah,
you can say, oh, they're still connected, but how? If there's no energy, in the first film they go over it. If there's no energy to them, there's no way they can do it.
And they prove that it's not connected because when they open the door, it's
a
closet.
Yeah, so it confuses me of how that's supposed to work because surely that would mean that at any time, if you've got a large amount of kids to scream, because there are only like 5 adults there, and they obviously managed to get a large amount of screens out of them.
Yeah.
And children's screens are meant to be the most sort of powerful.
Yeah.
Then that would work, and by extent, and this is how my brain works to it, that considering we know in the first film that laughter is actually far more powerful, surely if kids were laughing, it would be activating the doors, thus they'd be able to open them at any time. So giant gaping plot hole.
But
no idea how to film.
Yeah.
That's what that
just
feels.
There probably
terrible.
is an answer out there, and we probably just missed it.
I don't know. Well, if I would be great, I would happily accept anyone who can give me an answer. But that is really, to me, it's just a way to prove that they can work together, and it didn't need to be done that way because it doesn't make sense at the end of it, and that really bugs me now when I think about it. It's plot holes like that. Those are the ones where I really sort of.
So basically, anyway, they get back to the university.
Yeah,
and we find out.
Yeah, they're expelled. It's the standard thing. They're expelled, but the dean, who I think it was Emma Thompson, but it certainly sounded like Emma Thompson, says, "Oh, you have done something that no one ever has. You have surprised me."
We still must expel you from the university.
Yeah, unfortunately, okay. What's weird is I really thought I'm glad they didn't do this now when I think about it. I thought she was going to get them a job there.
Yeah,
because obviously she must have had some clout with them.
Yeah,
but she never.
Somehow she let them back in because he proved.
Oh, she was never going to let them back in.
Well, they both proved they could do it, but they broke all the rules.
Yeah.
So.
It's the strangest version of Dirty Harry I've ever seen. That broke the rules, Solomon. I can't do it. I couldn't do it if I tried.
Okay. So basically they get expelled, and then instead of going their separate ways and meeting up,
they team up.
They team up and join. They start off in the mailroom at the Monsters Inc. thing, don't they? And then make their
they slowly make their way up through the sort of ranks.
I don't know if it was a plot hole, but it kind of did bug me. I think I might have missed it. But when they start working in the mailroom, their supervisor happens to be the abominable snowman. Yeah. And I didn't think that in the first movie they actually knew who he was.
That's one of those moments where it's the retconning. The original. Don't
Well, they know who he is, but I didn't realise they'd met him before.
You could a way to explain it. I'm not saying it's the perfect way. You are right. It's still It's still a slight plot hole because it is questionable.
Well, I thought it was questionable because it had.
But you could explain it.
What they've not seen him for years.
They've not seen. It might be that he never got past there, and that he got banished, and that they just forgot it. They do reference him earlier in the original, I think.
I can't remember if they do, but you find out why he was banished. Because it's hinted at why he was banished.
Yeah, he says about open the packages.
Yeah, he says, it's illegal to open
subtlety.
In the
they have none.
And he got clearly banished for opening something he should have done in the mailroom.
There's sometimes subtlety with the references is not very good. There's a reference to the Roz, the leader of the
reception.
The SSC is that what they call it?
Yeah, the monster cleanup.
The cleaning crew.
Unity.
Yeah, there's a reference to her, which is it's good. It's there. It's not in your face.
Yeah, it ties her in.
But that is just the problem. It's those unsubtle moments that ruin it because you're like, yeah, fine. Reference the original film. Do not blatantly go, oh look, it's a reference to the original. Did you watch the original? Wasn't it so much better? Because you'll remind them they could be watching the original film.
Which has to be said is better.
Yeah, it's It's a better film. I'll admit, as a sequel, this isn't as bad as Cars 2, and it isn't as bad as Planes is probably going to be, because God beating a dead horse on that one.
No, I liked it though. I did like it, but to me, it just kind of did feel a bit sort of samey.
I don't know why Pixar's.
And I wanted to see how they would portray higher education and college to a very young audience, which is one of the reasons why I wanted to go to this movie, because I wanted to see how they were gonna portray that.
Yeah.
How they were gonna say.
To me, it didn't look any different.
But no, that's just the thing. Is it didn't look.
I've seen it portrayed.
I mean, because aside from they removed, I would say probably all of the adult content that you would normally expect to see in movies for adults set in universities, but they kept the party atmosphere that was to be expected.
True, there was no John Belushi stuffing his mouth with cream and then smacking his hands onto his cheeks to pop and then going, I'm a pimple. And
I haven't seen that movie, but now I don't want to see it.
It's John Belushi. Awesome.
Yeah, but that sounds
gross. It's his character. His character space is sort of slow.
Yeah, no, there was nothing. They didn't portray university or college.
It's difficult. It's difficult to portray it that way because.
Yeah, but they didn't make it unique.
I admit there could have been jokes. There weren't many jokes there where I'd have gone, "Oh, I'm older. I get that joke," which is unfortunate. Which is maybe what they could have slipped in. They could have slipped in.
But it just kind of goes to show that the university college life that they portray to children is quite different when you get there and when you've been through it.
Well, yeah, but there is a difference between our sub-universities and
they made it look good. I imagine that the American universities is a lot rougher than.
I don't know. They might not be.
Might be all happy-go-lucky, singy, hippie style.
It's not a musical, and it's not the 70s.
Oh. Okay.
But no, it's but I wouldn't complain about that so much as a thing. Okay, it's not too much. It's not so much a problem.
No, it's not.
You wouldn't want them to portray it as being a terrible place. You portray it in the same way that you would, which is you have various cliques.
Fun place to go.
Yeah, it's good to learn.
Basically, I think that's definitely one of the messages in this. Is a good, learning is good. Learning makes you get places.
Actually, no, it's not true too much. It's that it's shown that you can have all the knowledge, but having the skills to use it is what's also necessary. You have to combine the two. Yeah. That's what you learn, because Mike and Sully are the two sides of the same coin.
Yeah.
And that becomes the major issue of it. And it's all well and good. Is it subtle? No, not really. It's not subtle as one might hope. That is the problem. It's a very unsubtle movie, and for Pixar to be this. I was trying to think if there was a better word to it, but it's too in your face with the things. It's stating, if only they'd worked together, they would be able to get. Yes, we understand this movie. We don't need to be retold it time and time again. We get that working on your own is not a good way to do things, and it will not help when you're supposed to be working as a team. And that's just the problem with it. And I don't know why Pixar decided to make it. I question that. But I think they've gone mad, because planes can't be a good thing.
I was expecting from the trailers this to be a bit more funny, comedy kind of style. But
I wasn't laughing as much as I might have.
And I don't think because we saw it with a bunch of kids, because it was 3:00 on a Saturday, so we saw it with an audience full of young children, and I didn't hear many of them laughing either.
True, but in Despicable Me they weren't laughing quite as much.
Yeah, but they were laughing more in Despicable Me.
Yeah,
and that whole snail joke that you see in the trailer, the snail going, I'm late, and
you still laughed at that.
Did I? I didn't.
I heard you laugh.
Maybe I was laughing at something else.
I heard you laugh. I was
maybe
like,
I was
no.
Giggling. But nobody else really laughed at that. Maybe because
it's not funny if you see the same joke 4 times. There was no need for that joke to be in. They could have shown it in the trailer. They could have cut it from the film, and it wouldn't have changed.
There was no need for that joke.
I saw it coming. I saw it was about to come, because you could see in the background. You could see him standing there. I was just like, it's going to appear now, isn't it? They haven't cut it. I really hope that would be just the trailer, and they wouldn't put it in. But no, apparently. I like when they do that. I like when some of the footage isn't from the film. It's just stuff they made in the trailer. Not always, because sometimes that tricks you into watching shitty movies.
I was more kind of thinking this when we come back. I was thinking, well, maybe the thing is, it's not a comedy. It's supposed to be, kind of more sort of like mild horror, because there was kind of more.
I don't think you can really have mild horror because you can't borderline a genre very well. You can't be straddling it in such a. Well, no, I'm not saying right. I'm saying you can't. It's difficult for them. It would be difficult for them to try and get that across because.
Well, it's not going to make a horror film for kids, I suppose.
Not easily. You can make a creepy.
The Black Cauldron. The Black Cauldron. Oh my
Black
God.
Cauldron's not scary. It's a shitty movie.
It's scary.
No. I swear you need to rewatch some of these films.
Possibly.
When you're older, you just think, oh, right, well, that's disappointing. What it is, disappointing movie.
Oh.
And really that's just the problem, that they were trying to be... You can't make a kids film, I think, when you're trying to be in that setting. Because you're right, you do have to make it very family friendly.
Yeah.
And that's the problem, that most comedies in that area, in that genre, aren't that family friendly. I can't think of any that I would think about in that area, and that does become the problem. I mean, the second Goofy movie is set there, and it is a very, very clean-cut university college place. There's no sort of sexual escapades. There's nothing like that. But it still isn't a proper representation. And it never will be.
Not for an audience that young.
No. It's a good place.
Parents would freak out if there was, loads of sex and drugs and rock and roll and drinking
one monster
violence.
with visible cleavage, and they would,
Yes.
make a film in university. No one bats an eye. You show one piece of cleavage, and everyone loses their minds. To quote the Joker. Seen that meme so many places.
It's the way it works, though, isn't it?
Yeah. Because, there was no one there who, even like the really girly fraternity was very conservative in clothing.
Yeah.
Very conservative clothing. Where in a film, more like, say, Animal House or something like that, they wouldn't have been, although no one would ever be that conservative. Which is weird. Yeah. It is just very... It is very sort of, we've got school pride and we have rivalries, but they're all very good natured. Like, yeah, I don't believe that for a second. You're giant fire. Some of you are fire breathing monsters, quite literally, and I somehow don't think good natured. Here's actually a thought that now I think about it, just pops to my head. Earlier on, when Mike and Sully meet up properly and they end up getting so there's that whole thing with the other school's mascot. That never comes back. That is something that's brought in just to go from point A to point B. That is totally so he ends up at the party and is sort of told he can't be a scarer.
So he kind of steals this pig creature.
It's the mascot. It's the mascot of Fear Tech that they brought up earlier.
Yeah, I know the university, isn't it? And the idea is that he's done it to prove
he can be in the best fraternities.
Yeah, that's why he's stolen it, basically.
But really, to me, that's like, well, then it doesn't come back. There isn't anything after that. It's never re-seen. I would have liked to have seen that they still had it.
Oh wait, no, at the end, it gets mentioned at the end.
Does it?
Yeah, where they go, like, the Mike and Sully are standing outside the bus and, Sully's listening to all the stuff.
Oh, he says, like, he caught the pig.
Yeah.
But that's not really bringing that. I don't know. I don't think that really brings it.
Yeah, but I mean, the idea of that bit was showing that actually, it's basically
Mike even from the beginning has been. So that's
been basically doing all the work and stuff, and should have been.
But I just feel like if you're gonna have that area, that thought, and that plot line be brought in for even briefest of times, something ought to be done with it, because there are other movies that have done that.
I'm trying to think what else could be done with it. What, well, the other rival school shows up and says, well, we're going to war with you now because you stole our pig.
You have no idea what some other films of this genre have done. They
because the genre doesn't really appeal to me.
Because they do that. They're very sort of respectful.
You think it would be more interested if something
I feel like something that isn't necessary.
Been a payoff to it.
Yeah, either that wasn't necessary or it could have just been their own mascot. It could have been their own mascot.
At the end of the day,
and it wouldn't have.
I reckon if Sully hadn't, stolen that pig, he still would have probably been chosen because of his.
Yeah, he would have been the heritage.
Yeah, he still probably would have been chosen to be in there.
It's just another thing to get from point A to point B, and that's the problem with this movie. That there are so many moments where we need to get them to point B. Okay, let's just have this happen. Why? I don't
It's a kids' movie. Nobody will care and nobody will notice.
I know, that is the thing that bugs the crap out of me whenever somebody says stuff like that. And whenever you say, "Oh, it's a kids' movie, no one's going to pay attention." No, we will pay attention. We will pay attention because we are the ones watching it. That's the sort of thing. Adults have to watch these things along with kids. You can't talk down to kids because you talk down to kids, you're talking down to adults at the same time.
Yeah,
and there is the problem. Balance. And yeah, it's a difficult balance between the two. I mean, Shrek is a good movie because it does when it did that. Shrek did it. It had Donkey make references to stuff that kids would never know, and that's perfect.
Kids still find it funny.
Kids find it funny because it's silly.
Yeah.
They don't like at the end of Despicable Me 2 when they have the minions in the white which I heard actually is not meant to be NSYNC or something. It's supposed to be like Boys to Men, which is a band in America. Apparently, I've heard that somewhere else.
Oh.
I don't know if that's right. I don't know who they were meant to be.
I know what you heard that from because
I know. Yeah.
But because the thing is, because I thought that because I remember that scene happening in the washed out childhood.
And that's the thing.
It doesn't matter anyway. That's not the point.
But that's the problem. That I can't think of any jokes during the film where it was expressly for adults. The adults would get it, but kids wouldn't because they haven't been through that yet, or might not even ever be through that. And that is sort of I think the problem that they would have had.
It's not.
I can't even think of them having that
tailored to the adult audience in a way.
Yeah, I can't think of them having that in other places either. Actually, in any sort of Pixar film, I don't think we've done that really.
No.
I have to go back and watch them. I can't think of it as much, not as easily. They might have had something like Cars. I feel like there's something Cars, but I don't know.
There probably is something Cars.
It's possible. But it's not a terrible movie. It's worth a watch, but maybe not go to the cinema to see it.
Average movie, probably.
Yeah, I wouldn't say go to the cinema to see it.
Like if you've got little kids and it's the summer and you're looking for something to do.
Yeah, it should entertain them. And there was it'll entertain. It might not entertain you as much, but it might entertain you to a degree.
You can still sit through it though. This is the thing. It's not. As I said, it's an average movie because you can still sit through it and still get some enjoyment out of it.
Yeah.
Just don't go into it expecting it to be on the same level or better than Monsters Inc.
Yeah,
because it's not.
Not on that. No. Monsters Inc. had. I think that's actually the funny thing with Monsters Inc. Monsters Inc. has that massive change. It changes the entire world with what they discover. And the problem is, this is a prequel, so you can't really change anything because it's already been established.
I don't think if this had actually been like an official sequel, if they did another movie based after the whole event with Boo, I don't think that would have worked though.
No,
so you can kind of understand why they kind of said, well, we want to make another Monsters Inc., but we can't do that, so we have to do it as a sequel. So I can kind of understand like why they went down that route because I don't think after.
I can think that the only problem, the thing that comes to mind with me is there is. I'm trying to think of it now. There was a short that was done for Toy Story.
Yeah.
And it's it's set in the same world, same idea, and it was before another movie. I can't remember what the movie was now. I can picture it in my head.
But it was a Toy Story short.
It was a short based on a sort of Toy Story idea, and that worked really well. This really for an hour and a half film, I feel like you could condense it down to like a short without any trouble, because you could condense the entire idea of it down to a short and it wouldn't be that terrible, and you could even bookend the entire short with it being Mike and Sully reminiscing after that event and after the original film, and that would have been perfectly fine. And that's just the thing, for an hour and a half you've got full of cliches, references to the original movie.
I didn't find it boring though, but it was the fact that it just
I didn't find it boring. I wasn't sat there checking the time.
Like we did in The Wizard of Oz, the stupid
Oz the Great and Powerful.
Oh my god!
I was checking the time so much. So bored with that movie. So do not care for that.
But that's the difference though, is that it doesn't. You're not bored of watching it though, even though it's cliches and the plot is a bit dull. There's enough that keeps carrying it.
Yeah,
it's. Oh, no, really, and that's the difference between that and Oz the Great and Powerful.
Yeah, it's. Oz the Great and Powerful it's just a terrible movie.
The other thing I forgot is one thing that you mentioned to me quite, I think, before in the early days when we were planning to go see it, was that you were hoping that the girl,
I hoped that she would have an appearance because I would have liked them to. I knew they would drop references.
Yeah, and I was
there is a reference to her,
but that's only
for eagle-eyed viewers who are paying attention slightly. Except for there's like one off to the side. Basically, ending sort of monologue, ending sort of montage shows them being built up, going through the ranks.
Yeah, it does it really good.
And it shows like a napkin. It's inside Mike's locker.
Yeah, it's inside Mike's locker, and his locker changes over time.
Yeah, and it shows a napkin with like, Mike, call me sometime, Cecilia.
Yeah,
Cecilia.
That was her name.
And then basically, then later on, it's look over to the right. It shows the left-hand side, and there's like a black and white photo of her.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know. I'd have liked to have actually seen them sort of meet for the first time, which would have been nice. It would have, because that
but
is.
Then you wouldn't really want it of kind of a love story.
Well, no. I would have been more than happy to see in that final bit, to see them sort of talking. I would have actually liked to see them talking in the background, and then Mike to walk towards it, and as they do, because they have a scene where he's going onto the scaffold on the first day. I'd have liked to have just seen them sort of converse for a moment. But I don't know why they haven't done it. It could have been maybe they couldn't get the person who voiced her, so maybe they didn't put her in.
Or maybe it was just
possibility.
Plot or time or whatever. Maybe they decided it wouldn't. But yeah, so I was a bit. I wouldn't say disappointed, but I mean, I think they would have. I think they probably should have.
I wish they would have done more with it, and they wish.
I mean, I don't think she was an important character in most of it, but she did appear enough times to warrant being in.
To a reference. I mean, because even Roz gets a full. She gets screen time and voice. Although, and that's the thing, she gets screen time and voice, but Cecilia doesn't. That's kind of an insult. That is kind of an insult to the character. It's like, well, she had a big part. She may have actually been a bitchy girlfriend for most of the movie because she kind of was.
But she did kind of have a part. At least for the first half of the movie.
She's there for a solid part. She helps them at the end. Pretty sure she helps at the end. And that's the thing, she was, big enough character to have an appearance. I was amazed like Waternoose didn't appear at the beginning. Appears at the end in a picture with an afro. Strange moment. Just like, okay, so we're making those references now. Alright.
Yeah.
Let's do that. But yeah, really, I wouldn't recommend going to see it in the cinema as much. I would say when it comes on TV, watch it. DVD, cheap DVD maybe. But I wouldn't, not like a... Not really
better than that, because I did like it.
I'm just...
And I reckon the
I'm tired of sequels.
Yeah, I reckon kids who like the first one, and adults who like the first one will
probably
like it. But like I said, don't expect it to be...
Yeah, don't expect it to be anywhere near the first one. Expect it to be a bit better than Cars 2. That would be my... That's my underhanded comment. It's better than Cars 2 was, but not that much better.
Okay.
Cars 2 was, hey, let's make an entire film out of a character who was only marginally funny. Whereas this film is, hey, let's try and actually expand on things that really we should have just expanded on originally.
Yeah, or expanded on differently. Because the stuff that stuff that they should have expanded on, they kind of really didn't expand on as much as they really should have done. And that should have been a much more relationship friendship of the characters.
Yeah.
Which they didn't really go into details or develop.
No,
they did.
But they do it in a montage. Yeah. The problem, and then you don't get what you would hope, which is you don't see the relationship build. You see it build quickly, but it's all well and good. But we needed to see that. There needs to be that moment where they realise to work together. Because I mean, there's subtle moments like when Sully realises he shouldn't just work on his legacy being what carries him. He should work on him being what carries him. And that's a subtle scene because it's him seeing other scarers and realising it. And that's fine, that's subtle, but there's never that sort of discussion with Mike as much until late on, and at that point it's not even as much of a thing. But it's full of cliches. It's not anything original. It's the original.
Yeah,
the first one was quite original.
Yeah, it was quite, wasn't it?
And it's just this one's a bit, not too original because there's been movies about whole monster societies before, but it just wasn't anything new, which is fun. Right, well, I think that's all we've really got to say for it.
Taking a break and
yes, we're gonna take a break, and we've got one or two new trailers. So.
Ooh, and we should mention like the short movie that we watched.
And yes, we'll talk about that as part of the break. Back in a sec. Right. Well, trailers. The ones that we had before was like Percy Jackson, and the Ocean of Monsters. That's that one. Which once again I don't really care. So Justin and the Knights of Valor, which we had before Despicable Me 2, which still looks just as terrible.
That's where it looks slightly worse this time.
It always does when you start seeing it, because we got Planes again. I'm starting to think that Planes may or may not be slightly racist, because all of the characters are really, really stereotyped.
The only thing that's going to attract people to Planes is the fact that it's all bright and shiny and colourful.
Well, also made by Pixar, probably.
Yeah.
And
I don't really think
I don't imagine it's going to do much.
Unless you want to have a whole rant about it, I don't think it's worth going to see.
Oh no, I'll go see it.
You go see it.
I'll rip it, and if it's as bad as I think it'll be, I'll rip it a new one. If it's not, however, I'll hold my hands up and say
The plot of it just looks terrible.
The plot of it, yeah, is generic.
The only thing going for it is the fact that it's bright and shiny, and that's it.
I'm going to some of the new ones. We had Thomas King of the Railway, Thomas the Tank Engine movie, which just Thomas the Tank Engine movies scare the crap out of me. All of the characters have dull, lifeless eyes. They're just beings that just exist.
The thing is, the only two Thomas the Tank Engine will be the original one where it actually was actual trains on a track and one guy doing the voice, and that's my Thomas. And I will
just stare.
Not watch any. I refuse to watch any of the new ones, and I will not let my children watch any of the new ones because they just
see, creepy. That's what Thomas does. He stares at you.
Did you hear some of the voices for some of the characters on the trains?
I wasn't too much paying attention to it. I was being weirded out by all the creepy voices. I
don't want to really apologise to the people who ended up voicing that, but some of the voices just sound really awful.
It's like with the later version of the Muppets that you've not got the same voice actors anymore. You can't.
I know, but they've made it all worse, and they're trying to be young voices. We're not pulling off, and no, we're not going to see that at all.
I've got to admit, considering it's probably not going to get as wide as theatrical releases like Planes will, there wouldn't be a point to go and see it. It wouldn't. It's unlikely.
No, I don't think.
I don't think that's going to air in America.
Well, no, I don't think it will.
We got the trailer for the One Direction tour movie.
Oh, I'm gonna shoot myself.
Fuck me, do I not give a shit about One Direction?
I think when it came on, and you said
you didn't know. I love that you didn't know. No, it made me so happy.
When you were just like, it's One Direction, and I just caught on to it. I was just like, I kind of like.
I knew it was immediately after. I started to work it out in my head.
No.
I don't know why that's become a thing now. I don't know why, because you've got like Justin Bieber's had one, Katy Perry's had one. They've gone. I get it. They're easy to produce. They bring in the money. But fuck me, as I not enough.
People need to be rounded up and quietly hidden in a corner somewhere and just forgotten about.
No, don't worry. Time will take care of forgetting about them for us. They won't be popular forever.
I mean, if this was about,
hopefully,
like a heavy metal or a rock band or a band that was just more interesting, because One Direction surely could not be interesting.
Why did I know immediately you were going to use the phrase? Why can't it be a rock band or a metal band
or a classical music group or I don't know, or like ABBA or ABBA actually do have one, but you know what I mean. I think part of the problem is it's trying to catch
stuff that hasn't been done in a while, because I mean stuff like the Beatles had one. Beatles had 3. The Beatles ones are very shades of good. They're not all. There's some very weird, but the submarine are looking at you, and stuff like the Monkees. The Monkees had Head, and that is weird, and there's a lot of stuff behind that, and that is the reason why it was so weird. But that's the one. Those are entertaining because it's them being a little different or having a plot. This is a documentary. These are just documentaries
life
about
and times of One Direction.
Yeah, it's a documentary where the subject matter isn't anything interesting, and it's being made purely for them to make money, which is insulting.
want to see a group of, I don't know if they're teenage, I don't care for them, but it's a the group of young men balancing teacups on each other's heads. Who the hell wants to watch that?
Pedophiles. There will be so many people who should not be going to see that movie. You will see them. They'll be hidden. They'll be in the back.
They'll go see the midnight release or the late night show.
Oh fuck me, yeah. There will be.
Oh no, I don't want to even think about that now.
I love how, as you were saying that, I had that word in my head straight away. I was immediately going to say it no matter what.
But no.
I don't know what. I understand it. It's a way to make money, but it's insulting. It's insulting to me. I hate that.
I mean, come on, let's they're musicians. At the end of the day, they're musicians. They're not actors.
Yeah, so they're going to be as uncharismatic. If they're not charismatic, they're going to be.
Oh, they're going to be playing up to the camera.
There is actually fun enough thinking about it anymore. Just one little fact. There is, funnily enough, actually, my brother showed me the trailer for it. There is a film coming out. It's all about Bruce Springsteen. I know you don't like Bruce Springsteen. But it's all about Springsteen. But it's not about following him. It's about how people have been affected by his music. And it's a documentary. And
that sounds more interesting.
It does look really good. I'm not a massive Springsteen fan, which I immediately know my brother will go, how dare you say that? My brother is. I don't care so much. And it looks really interesting because that's what you should do. Follow someone who's had a long, illustrious career, still going today, still going very strong.
And look at it from a different viewpoint.
But that's the thing. One Direction's been around for what, a couple of years at the most.
A couple of years.
And it's taken, and they've released probably about one album in that time, maybe two. Really.
Very nice your point. As much as I hate all those evil people. You know, I respect how they've got there and where they've got to and how.
Didn't they get there through a talent show?
Possibly, yes. But
I'm pretty sure One Direction was through a talent show. So really, they didn't get there through anything. Yeah, but they got there through shit.
My point is that, I respect these people for living their dream and doing what they want to do, no matter how they got there. But the problem is...
they're shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Shit, talentless.
And I don't care.
Figureheads. So all I can think is just various abusive
words. And I think they just all need to be locked up and thrown in a farm.
I will just wait, and time will do its job for me when they are forgotten and they're just working ordinary jobs. Like Justin Bieber, who seems to be slowly destroying his own career and credibility.
Oh, yeah.
He is a fantastic downward spiral. Lindsay Lohan and Amanda Barnes haven't got what Justin Bieber has, which has become a pure douche. It is fantastic. Every new thing I hear about him just brings a smile to my face as I watch him collapse.
And it just irritates me how parents can let these people be like role models to their kids.
I am pure evil sometimes. Yeah,
it just irritates me. These people are supposed to be like role models, and you wouldn't want your child behaving like some of these people do.
Do you not find what you're saying ironic, considering we watched the South Park episode with Paris Hilton in last night?
That's probably where it came from. That's probably where it all comes from.
That episode is fantastic.
Moving on, get me off all these political debates. What's
next? The final trailer was the first trailer we got, which was Turbo, which is DreamWorks. Fuck me, do I not want to go see that movie?
It reminds me too much of kind of cars and planes.
It reminds me of everything else. It is nothing original. It is.
No.
Also, how does a snail become part car?
That's what I want to know.
He fell into nitrous oxide. I'm pretty sure nitrous oxide is not a blue. Yeah, he would have. Yeah,
should have died.
Exploded.
That would have been a better movie. Snail gets sucked into car. Snail dies. Snail goes to heaven. The end.
I don't want to watch the snuff film. How dare you?
It'd be more interesting than watching
It'd be quicker. But it just, I imagine they'll explain it, and they'll explain how he's become that. But it's such a cliche. That's it. It's that cliche. It's a small creature wants to do something that is completely against his nature. How does he do it? Some magical thing happens. Well, fuck me, I haven't seen that 50 bazillion times.
But nothing really magical, really kind of, besides the rat.
Well, actually, no, Ratatouille's clever because it's taking a stereotype of a... ironically, once again, I'm going over the same thing, aren't I? But it's taking a stereotype... And it's taking the stereotype of the saying of a rat being meant to be being very dirty, and you know if you call someone a rat, they're probably very uncultured and civilized, and that's what he is. The problem is this is the exact same thing, and I thought DreamWorks had stopped doing this. I thought DreamWorks had stopped trying to copy Pixar movies. Apparently they haven't. Apparently they just want to continue it, which is strange idea.
No, I don't. Kids might find this funny, but I think I'm just going to get bored of it.
Considering there was no small child that laughed throughout the entire thing.
Oh, that's true.
I was listening so intently, just to, it's like if I hear a laugh, then why? But still, question.
It wasn't.
But that's the problem. It's the originality of it. It doesn't seem to really be very. Actually, holy hell, they are actually twinning with Pixar movies because it's something that's normally seen as slow. Wanting to compete in something where they're required to be fast. That is the plot line to Planes.
Yes.
Fuck me. Wow, so okay, Pixar's going to go down, but they're taking DreamWorks with them. Well done. If you're going to take yourselves out, at least take out someone else with you.
I kind of get like all the companies kind of want to copy each other because it's in right now and they like to keep movies in.
That's what they're doing with Percy Jackson.
Yeah, but I mean,
it's shot like Twilight and Harry Potter.
I know things really can't. I know there's nothing original, but more creativity. People.
Yeah, it's the problem. But the problem is that they want to be creative and original, but it's the risks. You can be very risky with it and take some very creative original. But it might not pay off, and that's the problem. It's that balance.
Well, the snail movie is not going to pay off.
One would hope it does not pay off. Maybe it
Turbo the snail.
It might be better. Maybe it'll be better than I think. But for the look of it, it's nothing new, and it pains me.
I don't want to go see that.
As soon as I saw it, the first thing about it, I was like, okay, no, I'm just not going to care.
Interest me.
And that's the problem. But that's unfortunately all the trailers. No trailers because we have a lot of ones we'd seen.
Yeah, we'd heard about last time, didn't we?
Yeah, and there's for that. But to just go back over ourselves, Monster University. It's not a terrible movie. It's good and enjoyable. If you want to go and see it, go see it. I'm not going to say go and see it in the cinema because actually we didn't see it in 3D. And I just remember that it's 3D. What would have even been the point? There was no 3D for that film to really use. I cannot think of any parts of it where the 3D would have been more interesting.
Aside from making Sully's fur more kind of spiky. That's the only thing I like about Sully's spiky fur. But even the movie does that itself in 2D properly.
Yeah, and I just thought about it and I was like...
I don't think it wasn't really 3D.
No, it was so far from...
Which is good though that that they didn't have 3D in mind.
Well, no, but that's the thing. If you're going to make it a 3D movie, fucking use it. Otherwise, you've just got people paying extra money to go see a movie where you've then not used it.
It's true.
Which admittedly is what happened with Toy Story 3. Because I went to see Toy Story 3 in 3D. It had no fucking 3D. The ending credits to Toy Story 3 had more 3D than the movie.
Oh, that's not good.
That's what it had. That was idiotic. Pixar and 3D just no.
The short film that we saw.
The short film once again shows that Pixar is really good at showing, telling a story and just using images. There doesn't need to be any words.
In my opinion, I wish they'd show more short films before movies because I kind of like how they.
Yeah, but I've liked Pixar's done that, and they're good at telling stories without words.
Was the paper airplane one, which I love.
Paper Man.
I loved that one with the paper airplane.
That one not won awards.
I can't remember. I don't remember what we went to see when we saw that one.
I think that was Brave.
Oh.
I think that was last Pixar.
I don't think it was that. But I don't think it was that long ago that I saw it.
I don't know.
I don't think it was. I don't think it was that long ago that I saw it.
I thought it was.
That was a year ago. I'm sure it wasn't that.
I can't think of another Pixar movie past that.
But yeah, no, I'm pretty sure because I remember that, and we saw you said it was. I can't remember the title. You knew the title of the umbrella one.
Oh, Blue Umbrella.
Yeah. But yeah, it was the same kind of thing, and there was this blue umbrella.
It's a love story through inanimate objects. It's a love story in inanimate objects. But I thought, and I was probably more wrong with this because of what they do later on, that the inanimate objects were meant to be a response to what the people underneath were.
But
they weren't, because then you have those other moments afterwards.
Yeah.
And it's definitely interesting. It's clever that they used.
You're looking up now.
I am always looking up. And it's clever that they use. It's a very sort of solid color palette where there's the red and blue are the two sort of male female characters.
Because everything else is black.
And then it's solidly.
Everything else is black and grey, and it's just this red and blue.
Yeah.
Umbrellas.
And it works really well. It works as so many others. Wreck-It Ralph. Thinking of Wreck-It Ralph.
Told you so. I knew it couldn't be.
And it did win awards at the Academy Awards. I was wondering why it was best animated short. They know what I'm looking at.
Oh, who knows that I'm falling asleep at this point?
If anyone gets to this point, you are a trooper.
And congratulations for sitting through the other one we did yesterday, because oh my god, I didn't realise.
Some people have.
I didn't realise how long that was until you told me.
Some people have did it.
Well, good. Congratulations to you.
Only a small percentage, but whoever did, probably fell asleep. I don't know. I hope we were funny.
I don't know. I don't watch these things because I'm kind of scared to realise how stupid I am when I watch them.
It took me ages last night to find the two breaks that I wanted to put in. I was trying to find the breaks between where Mum came in.
Oh, right. It definitely you definitely need to see a break.
And then I knew where I could find the break between the main review and the trailers, but I was trying to find that break to just put something in there.
Yeah. It took you forever.
Yeah, I just couldn't. I knew it wasn't far from the end.
I'd gone to bed by that.
You were asleep. I was sat with my laptop on my headphones. I had my headphones on today.
Oh, right, okay, then.
That was the best.
I was out of it.
Good way to do it. But anyway, we will see you next time, and the next video that will likely be going up will be World's End. So we're going to see that, which, considering it's Edgar Wright, Simon Pegg, Nick Frost, it should be wonderful, and I should be loving it and singing its praises to the highest.
It's not too sci-fi. That's the only problem.
The first one was zombies, and that's science fiction.
I can cope with zombies.
It's just robots, and it won't.
It's aliens.
It's highly. It just seems to be robots at the moment. I've not seen anything about aliens yet.
Okay.
Which I thought it was, but then there was a trailer. It's like, holy shit, it's robots. Like, oh, okay.
But I think that's because they did Paul, and I don't think they wanted to clash with.
But
I know Paul isn't in the set,
and it's not Edgar Wright.
I know Paul isn't in the set, but I was thinking that they were thinking that might be too. I don't know.
True. I get what you're talking about. They would think, because I know people have gotten Paul confused with being part of it, which it isn't, because there were no cornetos. It doesn't have a cornetto in it. It's not part of the cornetto trilogy.
Ooh, your mum has cornetos in the freezer. Awesome. We should eat one done later.
It is quite hot at the moment. I apologise for how sunny the last video was. I really didn't realise how sunny it was. You should look at the picture.
I don't want to know.
It looks like the sun outside is trying to eat us. it's not half as bad as like this. This isn't too bad because I closed the blinds. But in the other one, you can't see like half of my face because there's just so much light on it.
Is it because you didn't close the curtains?
I should have closed the curtains. I didn't even close them. I didn't even close them. I just left them.
Oh, right. Okay. Well, no, because you've done that before where you've not closed curtains or closed doors that you should have done. So he doesn't make it.
My videos have terrible content. But,
it doesn't matter.
But we'll see you guys for the World's End. Yeah, which will likely go up Sunday. It will likely be going up Sunday night, and so it probably might go about Monday morning. I'm trying to get it so these videos will go up a bit quicker. I usually have to upload them overnight for my show, because my internet connection is shit.
As much as you want to see it on Sunday, by the time we get back after going on holiday, it might be too tired.
But we can always go see it on Monday, and that doesn't matter.
Because this is not, it's not an average holiday.
But we'll see you next time for the World's End, and which will be fantastic.
Hopefully.
See you next time.